Scott can't approve that, it's gotta go to councilmatic action. That's gonna severely hurt me in my department if I have any type of emergency. So as far as the revision, as long as those revisions take place, currently they have not been read at council. The current 2014 budget has been read twice, but I'm confident working with staff that we're going to be able to make those changes.
All right, thank you very much. Also, during all that time, you managed to improve our ISO rating, which is saving the residents money, so that's a great job.
Yeah,
Staying
ISO.
within budget and getting our rating up is good stuff. All right, Scott, your turn.
Thank you, Mayor. Obviously, every department has their needs, and most of them are justified with shrinking revenue. The problem with this budget is that we have to go forward and try to recognize those needs and also make sure that we're going to be solvent for now and in the future. In my opinion, we do need some extra revenue, but it's not my say as far as the council to act on that. The voter has to approve any additional revenue going forward, whether it's income tax or property tax. I think the biggest hit's going to be on capital. It's one of the easiest things to slash as far as compared to personnel cuts. You cut personnel, you also cut a lot of services, and the problem with that is, whether it's union contract or not, they're also eligible for unemployment, so you're going to cut the personnel, and you're also going to pay them sit at home 50% for a number of months. So sometimes that plan doesn't work either. So there's definitely some challenges ahead. We do have a healthy carryover as far as we spent wisely, in my opinion, the last 3 years, and but the revenue's definitely taken a tremendous fall, and we have to react to what we're going to be given to us and try to get things accomplished, fix the roads, get all the important things done, but also know that if this current council or doesn't react to getting additional more revenue, we have to make these cuts. And one last thing, I agree with everyone here as far as, you have two ways to pass the budget as far as the auditor is concerned. One is which they call the object level or line item, and that means, just as everyone said, that I can't authorize a purchase within that line item, even if it goes over a penny, or else I get dinged by the auditor if I close the month and that expense shows up, that it's $1 or $2 or whatever the amount is, that becomes a citation. Now what happens is that if it's passed at the personnel or operating level, the only council has still the authority to move funds within another fund, or they're not allowed to transfer money from personnel to operations or operations to personnel. So there's still some safeguards as far as budgetary concerns. But if it's passed at the line item or object level, then there will be a little bit of difficulty in administering the budget that we haven't seen, at least in the history that I've been here, and apparently the other departments haven't been passed. So again, that's a councilmatic action. I don't recommend it. It's a little bit harder for all departments and even for me to administrate, but that's again, not for me to say. I'm against it, obviously, with the department heads.
All right. All right, so now everyone's,
Can I speak for the
Yes.
council budget?
sure, absolutely. Jan Tully, council person.
Just for the council budget, and then one clarification, like this, when I go through, I compare all this paper all the time. For the city council budget, I did speak to Josephine about the codification, which is $4,500, city top for an actual contract that may not need that amount of money. For the travel and the training education, we divide that by 5, we figured out, both Nick Molnar and I both have said we will not be using any dollars out there, so therefore, it's not a lot of money, guys, don't get excited. So we can give you $60 back in travel and mileage and $600 back in the training, so that the other people have their dollars, but we're not going to use them. Then 2 clarifications, the line item budget, those of you who were around when I was on council, budget was always done for this type of review. We did not authorized by line. We said we wanted to make sure you had the input, so I appreciate that everyone is here tonight to finally get their input at line item, because I'm not sure everyone had ever seen their line item budget. What we talked about is the fact that you had the ability within your department to move money without approval. So I think there's been total misconstrued what we had asked for. We'd asked for this to be seen by you, to be approved by you, and recommendations for changes to be presented by you to ensure that you had enough money in personnel, you had enough money to buy the tools that you need to maintain your cars. That, you know, if the chief had brought back, I think at the last moment, the, can't remember what it's called, the cot, the RoboCot.
Yeah, we received
Oh, maybe
this.
cut,
Yeah,
right.
yeah, that's, we received a grant, we were awarded a grant through, that Betsy worked on, and some of Scott's staff worked on. And,
So it wasn't asking that we did every month, although we did this in the past, if all of you remember. We used to authorize transfers at one fell swoop. You managed within your own that you may want to move money from professional to a different line, but it was all approved once a quarter or once a month. It was not a big gyration, so I'm not sure where the scare tactic came here. The other question I do have, and this is under the legal department, there are 2 lines missing compared to the original budget that we received and the modifications. There's a line for the magistrate fees and a line for the prosecutor bill fees. It's nowhere here.
Went back over to court.
Pardon me?
Those were transferred back over to court, 101, 140. And that's where they originally were 2 years ago upon Dave Engel's suggestion he was counsel, or he was finance chair at that time last year, and he wanted to see those removed from 101, 140 and put into the legal department, 101, 150. This year, the opposite happened. The chair wants to retain the court prosecutor and the magistrate's fees back into 101, 140.
The legal fees for the mayor's court says $35,900, but it had been
That's a combination of
like 6, okay, so you've added together. Where did you put the magistrate?
under the, hers is under retainer.
Well, you took the court prosecutor's retainer out of here altogether. Where did you move it? I'm just trying to make sure that these numbers add up, because I was looking at bottom lines, and bottom lines added up. And then I went back, oops, I don't know where these move. So I just,
Oh, okay.
The
Up
comment
top-
is-
Up top in personnel, 3rd line down, 101, 140 mayor's court retainers, 65,459.94.
thank you.
Thank you, Jan. Well, you brought up some good points, and I think if nothing else, I want to thank my staff for coming and giving up some of their time so we could sit here tonight and talk about this, so the public can see actually what a juggling act this is. You're constantly, our goal is to give you more for less. And we've been very successful with that in the past 10 years. So we want to continue it, but when less starts to get to the point where we might be exposing the city to liabilities, we might be exposing our residents to unsafe conditions, then it's time for us to say, wait a minute, we need to tell everybody how complicated this is and how hard we try to work within our limits, but we can't always control which way the ball bounces. So again, thank you very much. I'm going to call this meeting to the end. And folks, this is what goes on with this staff constantly, and I'm proud to be their mayor. Thank you.